Hey, welcome back to Keys and Cafecito, where we sip slow and get real about real estate. I'm your host, Anna Franklin, realtor, homeschooling mama, and your go to for breaking down the fine print without the headache. Today, we're getting into something a lot of buyers don't think about until they're already in escrow: what to expect when you're buying into a community with an HOA, aka a homeowners association. Some people hear HOA and panic. Others don't even realize they're buying into one. So let's break it down so you can make smart moves with your eyes wide open. So, first, what's an HOA? An HOA is a private organization that manages a community of homes, usually condos, townhomes, or houses in a planned development. When you buy into one, you agree to pay monthly or quarterly dues and follow their rules. It's kind of like joining a private club that handles the neighborhood's upkeep, budget, and sometimes it's drama. What does the HOA fee cover? It really depends on the community. It's a case by case basis, but it might include exterior maintenance like painting, roof, siding, landscape and common areas, trash, water, or sewer, building insurance, amenities like pools, gyms, gates, or a clubhouse. Two HOAs charging the same amount can offer totally different services. So always check what's included. And some HOA communities have more than one fee. So make sure that that's all clear before you make an offer. What about the rules? HOAs have rules called CC and Rs. It stands for covenants, conditions, and restrictions. These rules cover things like what color you can paint your door, where guests can park, how long they can stay, what kind of pets you can have, whether you can Airbnb your home, how long your trash bins can sit outside, what kind of flags you can hang on the outside of your home, what kind of play equipment you can put in your own yard, even what kind of curtains you can hang inside your own home. And you know what? I am not exaggerating. Let me give you some real life examples. When I was 17, I had this old car. It was a 1986 Toyota Camry, and it leaked oil like crazy. I parked it in my friend's driveway for a day. She lived in an HOA community. And a few days later, my friend's dad got a letter from the HOA: clean the stain or pay a fine. That was my first taste of how real HOA rules can be. And I wasn't even a homeowner. Another story is that I had a coworker who bought a condo and she put up some curtains, totally normal looking, neutral color. But apparently, they weren't the approved shade visible from the street. The HOA sent her a violation. She left curtains up in protest and they fined her. Most recently, it happened to me. I have a listing that had a 24 by 30-inch for sale sign in front. It was clean, professional, standard stuff. The next thing I know, an HOA board member calls me. We only allow 18 by 24-inch signs. And before I could even respond, they physically pulled the sign out of the grass and removed it. So, yes, HOAs really do enforce the rules, sometimes aggressively. Some buyers love that consistency and order, and others feel smothered. The key is knowing which side of the fence you fall on. So here's what you need to know before you buy. HOA fees can affect your buying power. Lenders count those fees when calculating your monthly affordability. You will get HOA documents during escrow. So that includes those CC and DARs we talked about, It includes the HOA's budget, bylaws, board meeting notes. Those all have to be read through. Ask about special assessments. Those are surprise bills when the HOA doesn't have enough money for a big repair. I once had a listing that was in a small HOA community that had recently had a special assessment. Everybody in the community had to put $4,000 in for the HOA to be able to repair the communal decking. A lot of people didn't have those extra $4,000 laying around and had to actually finance it and make payments on it in order to help the HOA make this repair. Check your financials because a poorly managed HOA can really tank a deal. And I've seen it happen. Story time. I had a client who was buying a beautiful condo. This is very recently. Everything looked perfect until the lender flagged a problem. The HOA was operating on a negative budget, no reserves, overspending. It was a deal breaker, and it would be for most lenders. But my client, an accountant. And me, let's just say I don't go down without a cafecito fueled fight. We got on the phone with the HOA president and the HOA's accountant, reviewed everything, and helped coordinate an emergency officer meeting. They amended the budget, updated the financials, and resubmitted it to the lender. And boom, loan approved. It was wild, but we made it happen. And that's exactly why it's important to understand what you're really buying into, and also why it's super important to work with the right team when making your purchase. Takeaway. Buying into an HOA community means shared costs, shared responsibilities, and yes, shared rules. It's not a bad thing necessarily, it's just something to evaluate with intention. So ask questions, read the documents, and if something doesn't feel right, say something. And if your HOA starts tripping over oil stains or curtain colors, just remember, you've got me in your corner. Thanks for tuning in to Keys and Cafecito. If this episode gave you clarity or made you laugh or cringe, share it with a friend, follow the show, and leave a quick review. It means so much. Until next time, sip slow, read the fine print, and go get those keys.